All right, so time to go then. So hello everyone and welcome to this week's PTC Nordic Talks webinar, where we are excited today by having Dominique Scheider from Rockwell Automation for a session on a hot topic about leveraging smart manufacturing for battery gigafactories. But first, a very quick introduction about myself, and my name is Torbjörn Pitson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC in the Nordics, and we are running all these webinars at the same time every week. We also invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And all the past webinars have also been recorded and are to be found on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by my colleague Carl from the customer success team, and then Dominic will start by introducing himself, touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain some of the outcomes. And at the end, we are also having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end. So now over to you, Carl.
Thank you, Tobbe. So PTC is an international software company with headquarters based in Boston. We are developing software mainly for manufacturing companies since 1985. We offer tools for the digital transformation, such as CAD for design, PLM for managing data, IoT to connect products for manufacturing operations, and augmented reality to visualize and interact with the digital thread. To you, Dominique.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Torbjörn, for having me today in your Nordic Talks. I'm very pleased to be here with you in this fantastic region. So much excited about this lithium extraction and refining raw materials to the battery expertise that you have. It's really the place to be for people like me. I'm leading our transportation group for the EMEA region, also the strategies and the marketing for everything regarding transportation. So we will have a very quick overview. I have maybe too much slides for today, but I will be reserving some time for your questions at the end. And maybe we should start with, before we go, today is more about battery, more than EV, but we will address a bit both in this sustainable mobility, I would say. Just one slide on Rockwell, so you know a bit on Rockwell. We are, first of all, we are a PTC partner globally, and our responsibility is here to make the world more productive and sustainable. Everyone agree that such a corporate mission is super strategic in the automation world, because this is our root, automation for machines, for end users, machine builders. And we want to do that by expanding human possibilities. So this is a bold objective that we do not deliver bricks and software and automation for itself, but really to empower human possibilities in delivering more performing plants and operations. And today, yeah, this is really about the topic of so some figures here. I will not come back too much on that, no real time for that. But today the topic is really about this ecosystem around zero emission mobility, around batteries, because there is two sides of the way to see this map, and all this battery project is really having two sides. On one hand, definitely there is a lot of projects. Europe is really willing to be the second largest manufacturer of batteries around the world after China. A long list of projects have been announced in the last 2 years. So that's quite impressive to see from 0 to 30 plants in just 5 years. I don't think industry has seen that ever in the past 50 years. So that's quite exciting. But on the second hand, we all know that these projects are not all funded. There is a lot of challenges, even for the equipment itself, for the definition of the machines, the sourcing of these machines, and also a human challenge on leveraging the skills to make the plants running at top efficiency. And there is also multiple other challenges, like the fact that this rare earth, this lithium and cobalt and nickel are not that easy to extract and to refine. But all of that definitely is changing with the current crisis. And there is also the fact that sustainability of the power for the plant is a must. You cannot power these plants without considering green energy. So you put that all in the shaker, and it makes the start of production and the design of this plant and the kickoff of this project very challenging. So how can we, as Rockwell, as PTC, as Microsoft, support this ecosystem and make that reality, changing reality happening? That's a piece of what we see. But before we go there, again, 2 slides to set the scene. Most of you know about this European Green Deal, or you have heard last summer about the Fit for 55. What does that mean? It's a very aggressive agenda. Here we talk about reducing 55% of the net emission of vehicles by 2030 compared to 1990. So it's very ambitious, and doing that also making affordable transport, not only super expensive vehicles, and enable everyone to access cities from remote areas. So it's not about cars only, it's also about all type of transportation on the roads, on the oceans, in the air. And with that, we know a lot of manufacturing sites will become obsolete in the next decade. A lot of things will have to be reinvented, and there is a certain sense of urgency if you think that 2030 is only in 8 years from now. And that's super short. It's also not only about the manufacturing plants, it's also about the infrastructure. We hear about 60 kilometers for an electrical charging on the highway, or 150 kilometers for hydrogen refueling. That is also another challenge to make this reality happen. And other initiatives, as I said, are about aviation with Refuel EU Aviation Initiative or Fuel EU Maritime. So there is definitely really a bold ambition here from the European presidency to make that happen. And we see some projects like infrastructure of Le Grand Paris around expanding the train infrastructure becoming a reality. So a lot of things happening in parallel. And of course, there is a lot of demand for digitalization in all of these projects and infrastructure. So this is the Fit for 55 that was drafted in July 2021. Another one which is coming also with that is this type of mapping, because I think it's interesting to compare Europe with other regions. You see we are ranked as a second region with a CAGR of 22.5% on the period of 2030 to 21. You see the number of EV cars from 4 to 35 million. So all of these extractions from global markets analysis also indicate that it's not only about battery-powered vehicles. There is much more research ongoing on fuel cell, on sustainable oils and green oil that you will have for your ICE engine. So a lot of research ongoing, a lot of ecosystem working together, and a lot of uncertainty. If you hear the CEO of Stellantis this week in the future of car conferences, he's really wondering if we should target the 100% of CO2 reduction or 90%, enabling the ICE engine as we know today to be produced in Europe for a certain type of vehicles and for exportation. So things are changing very fast also on that side of regulation. And as a consequence for us, we see demand of our customers to really increase again the scalability of their manufacturing site to manage what they were producing today, what will be manufactured in the future, and make that combine under the same digital solutions for the most. So a lot of challenging, and this includes a lot of tier one automotive that we serve also in this transformation with a sense of urgency. And on top of that, I want to highlight this another account that we know very well. It's a rival in UK. They are producing EV vans, and we see coming also on the market totally disruptive vehicles like they are producing here on aluminum chassis and composite panels, but also disruptive way to design the manufacturing site with microplants. And this is also very interesting to see. Of course, Tesla is not anymore a startup. They are doing a lot of disruptions, rival or startups like that as well. And they are challenging the legacy players on this market with different things, which is also interesting to see, to lower the maintenance of their vehicle and to lower the time to roll out micro plants around the world. If you want to build 20 plants around the world, you need to have different concepts, like, for example, subscription mode or SaaS type of software as a service, enabling really to change the way to build a plant and to roll out the plants very fast. So we need to be creative as, again, the three partners talking today on how do we serve these type of new customers. And if I go even further in that type of message, I can go even to the 2 wheels, 3 wheels, super light vehicles In Germany in 2021, it was 2 million e-bikes sold. It's a record. And from e-bike, we are going to, again, light vehicles on a specific lanes in the city. Cities are reorganizing themselves to be welcoming this type of new vehicles. Like just in Paris, by 2026, it will be 1,000 permanent kilometers of cycling or light vehicles. So that's changing. And we here, again, are facing new type of customers, not gigafactories, workshops or micro plants, asking different type of contracts to be supported in their transformation or in their erection, because there are also a lot of startup here. So again, with that, how do we come with PTC and other partners into a comprehensive solution from the early design phase? Here we talk about a battery cell or disruptive vehicles. Definitely, we think there are 4 major steps in what we call the digital thread. It starts with the discovery of the products, and all of this is happening in a digital environment. When PTC is presenting their PLM and their ERP solution and CAD with Creo and Windshield, it's all about starting at the root of the project, at the foundation and genesis of the project in a digital environment, and never ending into getting the benefit of that to enrich the next steps. From discover to create to make, typically where Rockwell is starting is when it's about make and sell and the operations, but we get the benefit of what was done already in a digital environment. And this is what we want to create with some customers that are really open to make the transformation at their point. We understand it's a lot of change management for most of them, but we can make it starting in some of the aspect of that and expanding with having a clear journey, digital journey, and clear roadmap months after months. And here illustrations are around batteries, because there is a lot of research in batteries. The batteries that will be produced in 5 years are in research and development today, and the gigafactories are in construction. So how do you ensure that your gigafactory that will be opening doors in 3 years will be able to produce what you have in research today for solid state batteries or others? It's absolutely important to be able to simulate in a digital environment with digital twin and simulations. What will be the impact of if I change this catalyst, if I change this this process? What will be the impact on the future battery production? And only possibility here is to work on this this type of model, and we will very quickly have a more description of this. Some of you know this very well. Some others might not be so much aware of what does that mean in terms of manufacturing. But 6 aspects here that I talk very quickly, but we can talk offline if interest. It starts with a very smart production system, MES, manufacturing execution between the ERP and the operations. And this type of solutions are adopted by automotive for sure for decades, but now is also adopted by battery makers to be as a modular approach, enabling all the functionality that you see that. And most of these functionalities are also becoming more in a cloud-based solution today, with different way to approach that. But this is what the market is asking: speed, implementation, fast rollout, and digital by design. So the fruit of that, the beauty of that is with that you will be able to really ensure your high volumes, high flexible operations, possibility to react to the R&D, as we said, and highly automated process. And also tier 1 automotive are going that way now. Another aspect is, of course, the visibility of this MES. And here we have built with PTC this Factory Talk Innovation Suite based on ThingWorx. It's really about how do you visualize real-time your assets, how do you benchmark and optimize your assets by gathering historical asset information with other process data. So definitely it's proven benefit here as well, and the challenge is quite high because average OEE for a battery plant is closer to 70, 75, when the average on the industry is 80, 85. So we definitely think that this type of solution will help to increase the OEE in the battery plants and ensure a faster ramp up. Because ramp up of battery plants is super difficult, super technical things, and such smart visibility solutions will help in that. So again, then I said a place to have in a single room under the same roof, connecting all your assets and multiple data sources under the same pane of glass. But that's not all. If you want to ensure that the execution of your digitalization plan is successful, you need to really empower your workforce on the shop floor, the maintenance, the operators. And you see here the figures of the European Battery Association. They talk about 800,000 new jobs created just in next 5 years. And for that, no, it's 2023 alone for this estimation. So you cannot just have the information on your HMI or on your control room. You need really to empower the people on the floor. And this is where you have solutions like augmented reality, connected assets, could be the HoloLens 2 that you see here from Microsoft or any other devices. But it could be just a tutorial, a video, a tutorial, or some help that you get, or a remote engineer real time, or the real-time data from your machine that you see in front of your glasses. Anyway, it's all to empower the people and to make them faster, super efficient on the job. So it's not rocket science, but it's not futuristic that much. A lot of companies are adopting that on their shop floor today for innovative processes. Another aspect that you know is all the analytics solution. We as an automation company, we have been running automation on a certain way with PID loop, which is the basic of the regulation of processes. But step by step, we realize that we need, in many cases, having the benefit of AI to reach higher level of machines. When you reach the limits of a calendar for batteries, for example, you really need an extra level of auto-adaptive process. And this is where we have proven AI also on this type of projects. And that's for sure what the automation and OT and IT technologies are doing now for this industry. So it's not unique to battery process. We are doing that on the film, on the paper, on the tire industry. We see a lot of similitudes here. And definitely, we are just at the beginning. I'm not saying this is everywhere, but this is really starting with proven results. To machine learning, and it's not only about a software message. It's also sometimes that the smart device by itself can support the top OEE on the machines. I'm taking an example of drive system for the motors, for the motion control. We have to think, of course, cloud, on-prem, what's happening on edge, what can be the value to have smart assets with a certain level of auto-tune in the tension of the coil, for example, on calendar again. So the holistic approach is necessary. It's not artificial intelligence or automation. It's all together, work on the pain points and define the best solution, which is a combination of all of the IT and OT solutions we can provide. Again, a lot of expertise from other industries make us achieving great results, even at edge level. That's a key message, and it's not only software, it's really sometimes purely hardware things. Sorry again for the pace of the presentation today. I don't want to be too long. I have two more. I think my last slide on the smart. The smart is again here on hardware. It's more about the plant layout because it's not there. When you design the layout of a battery plant, what about the intralogistic? What about the conveyors? What about the feet of this conveyor in a clean room environment? We have been very successful since 6-7 years with this magnetic transportation in battery manufacturing, battery gigafactories. And this is, again, things to be considered at early stage. And this is the power of partnerships, to have people that really bring the best of the solutions at the right time in your ecosystem. The end user cannot be aware of all solutions that exist. It's also on us to be at the right place to propose this. So magnetic conveyors, it's a Rockwell solution. Again, we made an acquisition, and we will do even more in the coming years about intralogistic for these clean rooms and semiconductor as well environments. Because semicon and microprocessors, we all agree, is also seeing a mass investment in Europe. So that's, I would say, in a summary of what smart manufacturing mean. It starts, or it's a combination of machine, line, plant, and enterprise integration. And it's a lot of techniques that cannot be just randomly assessed, but they need to respond to your business case and to your use case. And not everyone starts at the same level, this digital transformation, but we see consistent needs. And also, Rockwell alone definitely cannot respond to all. That's why we have so large partners in our efforts for mutual benefits and especially to serve the customer end to end. So this is what we hear. And also working with universities. I was in Chalmers University with Torbjörn and the PTC Microsoft teams last month. This is also places where we need to educate, we need to explain what we can offer and work hand in hand. Europe is really catching up on battery science. It's quite impressive, but there are so much things to be done that this is where we need to have, I would say, bringing this valuable ecosystem all together and define what's needed. But by experience on such transformations, it's not the first time that we see in Rockwell, for sure. We are a 100 years old company. It's always the same story. The end user itself is not enough. You know, when we define some decisions at this level of a battery maker, we really need to address our propositions to the entire ecosystem, the system integrators, the machine builders, wherever they are, and typically for batteries, they are in Asia, in China, in Korea. We need to make this umbrella of solutions together, so the running plant will be consistent in terms of solutions, automation, digitalization, and architectures for the networks and security, also very important. So this is how we work. This is what we like to offer in this contextual of battery production. I can also mention this type of battery passport, which is another aspect of the battery regulation in Europe, not only having the digital at the four walls of the plants, but even expand what about the mining, what about the CO2 emission of the raw materials and the transformation of these materials before it goes to my battery plants. So a lot of this will be, again, paperless and digital. So here again, we need to be creative, and this is what we do with, again, partners in this objective. So I will pause here. We have 7 more minutes. I will be open to your questions.
Thanks a lot, Dominique, for sharing a lot of very interesting findings on this super hot topic. So again, I mean, open up for a question here. So I mean, please raise your hand and ask questions to Dominique. Who would like to go first? Anyone? I can go first. I think, I mean, you had a really, good, overview about, also a question that I'm normally asking, how to get started. And I think, also, related, to that, I think, who do you think, should be engaged, from the organization, in order actually to have a successful project, sort of?
Yeah, it's always a very good question. We had a lot of discussions with our strategic enterprise account customers about this. And quite often what I'm hearing is success is when it's not only top down or bottom up, but a good balance between that. Means it have to be CXO driven. That's for sure. It's CXO, CEO, CFO, and CIO to be engaged in this effort and to give the direction. But they have to assign champions in every country, in every continent for global operations. And distribute the effort, not keep that at the VP level. Otherwise, it will be a failure. So it's the right balance of, as I said, empowering people to really have the feedback from the country and making sure that they are having benefit of these solutions and not coming to the complex solution that will not be used. So it's a right balance.
Mm-hmm. I think we have one question here in the audience. I mean, yes, thanks. Let me see who is first here. I think we had Richard. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone again. Hey, I just wanted to say this is such a brilliant presentation. It's one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. But when you got into the kind of the implementation part, and I love the way you split the capabilities, right? But a lot of the challenges we have at Tesco are about using different automation vendors, right? So I saw on your diagram you had the capability for, I can't remember what you called, but basically for the automation part of the solution, right?
Yeah.
What do you think in terms of modularization of those capabilities, right? So, you know, we could be a bit more vendor agnostic, right? But it can still fit into an overall ecosystem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's also a very good question. That's why somewhere the red, if the machine POC is in red here, because that's what we face quite often in so short period of time for implementation of gigafactories. Our customers have no capacity, no power of deciding what will be the automation platforms. It will be diverse. It will be a multiple of different things without any possibility to drive a standardization at this level of machines.
Yeah.
But our mission then will be to standardize the connectors, to standardize and secure the backbone of information on top of these machines. And we have, of course, from PTC Kepware, we have fantastic drivers, libraries, and so on to really set up the infrastructure. We work with Cisco. We work, of course, on Ethernet IP solutions, and standardizing that and securing that is then the more important. And from that, you can build the four other blue square that you see here without any impact. So the goal is to have the same automation platform. We have that in multiple large groups around the world, but if it's not possible, still valuable things to be considered in a consistent way.
Yeah. Is there a way for the end consumers of these standards to get involved in shaping what they are?
What do you mean? Sorry.
What do I mean? When you're saying that you're kind of standardizing what the machine interface looks like for different automation capabilities, and you're building standards right around that, is there a way for end consumers, i.e. the manufacturers, the retailers, right, to get involved with setting those standards, right? So I don't want to derail the conversation, but yeah, short answers.
Yeah, it's at the end all based on global standard. We are not inventing a new standard, but we would like to decrease the complexity and the risk of all these different. Of course, there is OPC UA. There are a lot of existing trends on the market, but we have live data in the Rockwell environment with Ethernet IP. Again, our mission is to secure and to build a strong infrastructure of information on the backbone, as we said, on top of that. And not so much reinventing a standard, but to make sure that we have the proper informations that we need as much as possible real time and being built on the market standard, not proposing any, but be able to connect every.
Thanks so much. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another question also from Sunil. Maybe you would like him to speak up.
Yeah, thank you. I thanks for such a good presentation and giving the overview.
Thank you.
Of the entire solution. My question is, when the battery manufacturers are in a rush to produce some amount of batteries in the first, right, because of material shortage or setting up the plant, they're busy in a greenfield activity. How do you justify the investment upfront on not only on automation but complex solutions like predictable model? I mean, do you provide end-to-end services like making a business case, or is it like a bundle of solution or package that you offer for the customer?
Yeah, What you say is absolutely right, and we have all heard about this feedback when we reached out to especially the European emerging battery makers. They are damn busy on the priorities to launch a gigafactory in 2 years. They have no time. But let's take the example of the Spark factory in Nevada with Tesla and Panasonic. That was not easy. That was even maybe so much a painful experience that Elon Musk decided to go himself in the production of batteries. That is very difficult to run new technologies like that in the middle of the desert in Nevada. So how can we support to not to do better with the new generation of gigafactories that are coming now? And it's not only working with the end user. I mean, if the end users they have bought a line end to end to Korean battery makers, equipment maker, then we need to work in Korea and to be these analytics things to be discussed in Korea, not in France or in Sweden. You know what I mean? So that's what we used to have with our product manager to agree on the action plan once we have a shared vision of the actions we need to be taken. It's not necessary in Europe that these things are happening. It could be more at the equipment design.
Okay. Thank
Is
you.
it a bit clear what I'm saying? Is it making sense?
Yes. It's answered my questions, and I'm just wondering, do you offer end-to-end services as a package, or you only, giving the products as such, pre-configured products?
Yes, we have definitely, as I said, we are a $7 billion company. We deliver end-to-end turnkey solutions, software, and also hardware. This, for example, this magnetic conveyor that I was presenting here is coming quite often as a turnkey line. But do we sell that to battery makers? Sometimes yes, sometimes to the system integrators that will be installing the line. And we see a lot of this coming to Europe now. Or another example is the MES. This type of MES is coming quite often for the first line, the first plant as turnkey Rockwell. Then it could be another system integrator or partner to roll out of a site. But things are changing with the SaaS solution like Plex, because again, it's SaaS, so it's changing totally the way to implement this type of products and solutions. But yes, we deliver solutions and services, of course, yes.
Okay, great.
But without exclusivity, it can be open to system integrators. We have a lot of skilled system integrators in Europe to do that as well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
We have actually one additional question here. I mean, from Vesa. Would you like him to?
Yeah. Thank you for excellent presentation. But I guess you might have answered already something. But I'm asking. But have you thought the double round material chain and material reuse when at the end of battery life cycle during disposal?
Yes, that's of course the thing that we hear, how these batteries will be really sustainable and green or not. I am a member of Recharge Association. There are a lot of associations in Europe working on that as well. And even when you see Northvolt with Hydro, with Volvo working on the recycling of batteries and so on, that's quite impressive. But we are not at the end of that. We are just observing that when you get this black mass is not yet reusable for the battery cell makers. And there is a lot of research ongoing in this space. And that will not resolve the challenge of the sourcing of raw materials. And that's why also Stellantis and others are saying that we are not coming that quick to the full EV mobility in 2035. That cannot fly because of this. Recyclability is not like when you recycle the steel of the car. Steel is becoming steel very easily. Black mass of a battery recycling is not going to the nickel, lithium that easily, as you probably some of you know. So a lot of research in front of us on that aspect, and not so easy answers here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. Sorry, but time is unfortunately running out. As always, I mean, very quick. So many thanks everyone for joining, and a special thanks, of course, I mean to you, Dominique. But stay tuned for the next Nordic Talks over the next week on Semantic Data Mesh, the missing link in your data platform by Capgemini. So thanks everyone again, and have a fantastic weekend.